All right, y'all. I know y'all probably about tired of seeing me, but baby, this about to go down. This is my show right here. This is my boxing ring. We got some good old boxing matches coming up. We finna talk about the big match this weekend with Devin Haney and Garcia. Even though I don't know if Garcia gonna be able to make it, but we gonna see. Okay, we got a couple of topics in boxing that we're gonna be covering today, and we're gonna give y'all a little insight of our little game, our little fantasy card that we have. So sit back, relax. We finna get this road work in on this boxing, baby. This ain't act like you want to go back. What's up, y'all? How y'all
What
doing?
up?
Good.
We back. We back. Yes,
We are
sir.
back. We are back. We got a little jam packed show because it seemed like the boxing world is wanting to turn up. Like we had some good action today
About
on
Hmm.
time.
Twitter. Like what?
About
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Like we got some things, but let's start it off today. Now, this question I think a lot of people have been asking for years, legitimately years, but I think now in 2024, I think we're kind of really seeing the effects of it. But has the money caused boxing to go downhill, or do you think the money is a good thing? You know, with the B side, the A side, the purse, all of it. So let's go ahead and dive in. Whoever want to jump in first, go ahead. But what has the money done to boxing in 2024?
You want to take it away, Bando?
Because I see him itching.
Yeah.
I see him
Nah, because it's like
itching.
because it's got layers, right?
I
It's got
agree,
some real layers
100%.
to it. And I think because I've been thinking about this all day because I knew we were going to talk about this a little bit, but you know, the arrival of social media as a platform for these guys give us access that we've never like had, in like previous generations. So we're constantly like seeing them and they're constantly having to posture and position and there's all these mental mind games and hoops and everything, and then behind all of it is the actual business of boxing, right? And then next to that
Mhm.
is the actual spirit of competition in boxing. So when all these things are swirling around, I think what happens is it allows fighters and promoters, to hide behind some of these layers, because for someone who's not literally an expert in contract negotiation, promotion, venues, and just everything, down to every ounce of weight you cut before
Yep.
before the fight. It's like so much stuff that you can. It's so much noise that if you're cerebral with it, you can hide, right? You can hide behind this to avoid certain competition. So, one, look, this is it's a combat sport. I'm all about guys getting the most money they can possibly get out of the sport.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned
For
it
sure.
last time we talked. I'm more of a one for me, one for you. So, one fight for me, the fighter, like, like a showcase fight, one fight for you, the fans, the fight I know I'm supposed to take, if I am who I say I am, or if my belts
Mhm.
say I am this person, right? And I think we've gotten away from one for me, one for you. It's been one, two, three for me, and all the money that comes with that. And unfortunately, the fans are also, kind of in lockstep with this thing getting to be an issue. So, no, I don't think the money is a bad thing, because I want guys to get paid, but
Yeah.
it should be the opposite effect. The money that they're making should allow them to take a little bit more risk. Because if I'm making 30 million, I'm fighting a guy like Ryan Garcia who's never even had a championship belt, not not on my level, but I can make 30 million off of it. It's almost like, why do anything else? Like I get that, but at the same time, it's like I need for fighters to take it upon themselves to do better for us. And I don't know, when that change is going to happen. But I'll say this: I'm all for fighters getting paid. I just wish that we had less noise and more action.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I agree, but I agree with everything you just said, but I think about it even deeper. And we can talk about this for a long time. So I'm gonna try to make this as
Right.
quick as possible. But like y'all remember, just stay with me. Like y'all remember, like in the '90s and the '80s, like there was a fight called, like when it was basically HBO boxing and Showtime boxing. Basically,
Yes,
there was a fight card on TV almost every weekend
every week.
that you could
It
turn on
was.
and watch a legitimate 3 or 4 card fight. I mean, 3 or 4 fight card. And then like pay-per-view was reserved for premium championship
Chip
fights.
Right.
boxing.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
your
Elite
Mike
level.
Tyson,
Right.
elite, Mike Tyson, Roy
Tyson.
Jones.
Yep.
At that point in time, Floyd Mayweather wasn't even a side pay-per-view fighter. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was reserved for legitimate elite level championship fighters. It was pay-per-view, and you paid for it because you knew you were getting a premium show, whatever the cost, right? Time moves forward, business model change, cool, get it. Floyd Mayweather comes in, everybody takes the money, cool, get it. Boom, COVID hits, and everything shuts down. Now you get to a point where you can't make gate money to get your purse money because you can't pack venues out because you can't have people. So
Yeah.
every fight turned into a pay-per-view or a stream. It turned into something you had to pay for to watch it outside of just your normal cable provider. And then it got
Yeah.
to a space where it turned everything into pay-per-view. And then they got to a space where, okay, COVID restrictions relax. We can get cards back. I mean, we can get crowds back. And now everybody feel that they're a premium pay-per-view fighter to the point that, like Bando said, people are hiding behind the money. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I know, like, if you want to fight me, you got to prove that you can. Like, bro, if I miss the era of, I can take a loss because I know if you beat me today, I promise you I'm gonna get back in that ring and I'm gonna give you every bit of smoke you asking
Right.
for next time.
And we can
Like,
run it
so
back.
we can run it
Yeah.
back. Like money has helped boxing because I agree in this sport, literally getting in that ring can be your very last time. Like it takes a
Yeah.
different type of person to get in that ring and get punched in the face
Yeah.
for a living. Like
Yeah.
you just got to be different. So I agree
Right.
that fighters should get every bit of money they want. Know your worth and get your worth. But at the same point, you got to understand, like, don't price yourself out of a fight just for the sake of XYZ or outprice your opponent because you don't really want to fight that person because you know they're not worthy of the money that you get, but you know that person might really put some hands on you and throw your record off. So it's like
Yeah.
it's yes and no. Like boxing money has definitely helped boxing, but it's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely hurt the overall product as well as from a fan
Yeah.
standpoint because
Standpoint. Yeah.
we don't get the fights we want to see. You know what I mean? When it comes down to televising fights, most fights aren't televised on some platform that you have to pay for. Like it's just a whole lot to it, man. Like
Yeah.
yes and no. I agree both ways for sure. For me.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with both of you fellas. Definitely money is definitely like a barrier, so to speak, or
Mm-hmm.
like a guard. But I think it's definitely more factors like the amount of belts nowadays,
Absolutely.
and just the promoters in general playing. I would say more of a factor in why the sport is so watered down. I would say not necessarily ruining the sport because again, we want these athletes to be getting as much money as they deserve to be getting.
Yeah.
But it definitely has contributed to watering down the sport because again, it's just like they find more and more ways to give these guys ways to avoid that ultimate path of
Yeah.
king of the hill type of
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
champions. Like again, it's not going to be like Bando said, every fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand that, you want to get to the bag as well, but there's gotta be a balance there. It
Right.
can't just be heavily profit and revenue over the, integrity of the product. So
Right. And then
And
Yeah.
look to your
To Rob's point, before go ahead, Bando.
no, I was just gonna jump on that point too. It's just like also the fans have been diluted too So it's like when you
Mm-hmm.
have fans who don't know what they're seeing, they don't know
Mm-hmm.
that they're being finessed. As I mentioned the last time we hopped on this thing, it's like
Mm-hmm.
they want, that explosiveness every single time they tune in. They don't really follow the day to day, the week to week. So the fans have kind of diluted, to a large degree too, because of what Breeze was saying. Like you don't have the same amount of access. There's no ESPN Thursday night fights like on the regular, with Teddy
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlas breaking things down and laying out the landscape for you. So you get that dilution of fans, you get lesser quality fights, and you know what else gets diluted? The cards themselves, because all that money
Mm-hmm.
goes to the only people that you've ever heard of. So now we're
Yes.
you know we're left with this chicken scrap, for as cards, and it's a treat when we get a co-main
Yeah.
event with someone we've heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just that, but I think like to Rob's point about the promoters, like we're just now getting to a point where we're getting like cross promoted fights. Like for a long time, like like Golden Boy wouldn't do business with Top Rank. Top Rank wouldn't do business with Matchroom. Matchroom wouldn't do business with
Yeah, the Cold War.
TMT. Yeah, it's like and
Yeah,
there were a lot of fights. Like, well, even if we get this money in, I'm not going to put no money in your pocket. I don't care how good this fight might be or who wants to see it. I'm not going to help
yeah,
you eat. You know what I mean? Like, I would never say that money ruined boxing, but it absolutely, you know, no
yeah.
pun intended. It took some body blows, like because of the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
definitely hurt a little bit.
That's how we lost Shakur and Frank that first time around. That's exactly how
Yeah.
this thing fell apart. Frank standing on business, knowing what he's worth, understanding what the pot looks like, and
Mm-hmm.
Shakur and really Top Rank, not willing to take any more steps to bring him the money that was going to make that fight happen. And that,
Mhm.
like, this is what we're talking about. This stuff, fights that are supposed to happen, falling
Yeah.
apart because
Yeah.
of XYZ, but the money is a background in all of this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, how many fighters have Top Rank essentially put on ice because of not wanting to put money in nobody else's pockets? Like
A
Yeah,
lot.
Top Rank had Terrence Crawford on ice for the longest time.
It really
They had
yeah,
did.
like the list. Top Rank is one of the worst in terms of if you're not fighting a top rank opponent, you're not going to fight.
mm-mm.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
it is terrible. Like it's
It's
bad.
tough.
It's bad.
It really, I mean, all of y'all have some great points when it comes down to it. I mean, I really want to get my hands on like a contract in its full, at like really get it in and break it down on everything. Because again, I know we were saying about this fight that what it's $89, it's $80 to watch this fight, but then they got it
eighty
showing it
dollars, man. eighty
$20.
dollars.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, okay, it's $80 for this fight, but we know this fight is like very mid. Like, I'll pay $80 to go, like you said, to go see Shakir Stevenson and Frank fight. But you know what I mean? Again, I do believe, and I had this conversation like for 2 years now, that this whole A side, B side, what the purse is gonna be, how much money make from pay-per-view and different things. I feel like when you combine all of that, I'm like, and I know some people blame Floyd. I know some people blame Floyd for it. They want to blame him for doing all of this, and I'm like, that's not his fault.
Yeah, I
That
can't
ain't
I
got
can't
nothing to
blame
do with
Floyd.
it. But people want to blame Floyd when
Y'all
now
want y'all want to talk about this question since we talking about promoters?
yeah, we could talk about this one. But yeah, everybody just want to blame Floyd for it. I don't. I personally don't see anything wrong with a boxing of, but I think these age fans are coming in that probably started in the Floyd Mayweather era. Just like you said, you've been watching like back at it. I don't think everybody understands how it works, and when they see this, they want this. They like, oh, they ducking this, or they ducking because of the money, or things like that. And I get the point, but it like I don't know when y'all said it, but like some people know if they get into being on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm willing. I'm
Mike,
willing to. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say Mike had a question. How do you feel about Don
Yeah.
King as a promoter?
Yeah, I was about to get into that because I was just gonna say I feel like I'm probably the oldest out of everyone on the call, at least.
Yeah, that's
At
definitely a little bit. That's a little bit before my time. Right? I know Don for the antics, not for the business
Yeah.
he was doing.
Yeah. So and okay. So Slim. So look, what you're saying is, the antics they do sell. So that's
Yeah.
we have to add that into the question itself. Do you want one of those quiet? We all know Al Heyman isn't a promoter, but do you want a quiet in the background, kind of Bob Arum, real low key promoter, or do you want somebody like out there, Eddie Hearn, like Oscar to a degree, but just like really in your face, like, hey, like look at me kind of promoter. But this is the best I can give you on Don King. The
Did he
honestly,
freeze? Okay.
he probably did everyone after this favor, but the scar that he left on the sport is how bad he did Mike
Mike
Tyson,
Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
at his peak, at his absolute peak and prime. And when I say doing him bad, that's twofold. One, specifically not caring enough about his actual coaching staff, like the people around him, getting him prepared for these fights. Because there's all kinds of great documentaries that you can look back at. But for like real quick, one example is like when he lost to Buster Douglas, the guys in his corner, I want to say none of them were even professionals. Like these were like his friends or these hang on. They didn't know how to like to fix cuts or stop swelling. They were just kind of there for the check. So just that part, just not even caring about who was around Mike. And the other side is knowing Mike wasn't taking care of his business, didn't have anybody looking at the numbers, looking at what was coming in, what was going out, what was being charged. So I say that Don King's greatest achievement is probably showing what is possible. You always say only in
Mm-hmm.
America. Well, he damn right. Like only in America, can I literally the great and powerful Oz, pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain, but for me, Don King's greatest thing is that he showed people what was possible if you create an event, like a true event with superstars that you can market, right? But the other side of that is that I feel like he is literally the darkest, part about boxing. If you don't pay attention to what's going on in your own business. So I do think he did a lot of people credit, going forward. But outside of that, I couldn't speak to in any further beyond like 96 and back,
Yeah, I remember like the tail end of the Mike Tyson Don
Like,
King
yeah.
union. You know what I mean? So I pretty much echo everything that you just said, because that's pretty much what I remember Don King for was the show, and then
So
the downfall
yeah. Yeah.
of Don King and Mike Tyson. And then I mean I know Don King still promotes fights, but nowadays when you see Don King, it's like for real, like
Yeah.
you almost don't even take it seriously. It's
yeah.
like what I mean. So yeah,
Yeah, hold on.
real.
Mike mentioned a Rocky film that for Rocky fans, we don't mention that film, Mike. That film never happened. The one with Tommy Gunn, that wasn't canon. We don't consider that canon. But it was bad. That whole thing was bad. That was a cash grab right there. But we
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't acknowledge that movie.
So who do y'all just off the top of your head, real quick before we move on, who do y'all think is the best current promoter in boxing? All things considered.
I'll be honest with you. I don't. I feel like they all suck. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, you
Um.
choosing the lesser of evils.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically,
I mean, if you
basically.
if you want to, if you, I mean, if you want to like throw, I can't stand him.
I
So
would
I
say Eddie
mean,
I'll
Hearn.
say Eddie Hearn.
I
Right.
was
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
Hearns.
say
I
a,
was
Eddie
getting ready to
Hearn.
say
I would
Eddie
say Eddie
Hearns,
I'm
but
Hearn.
I
a,
can't
I'm a
stand
Eddie
him.
guy.
Yeah, I can't stand him. That's why I said I'm like I don't even
Yeah,
want to say him, but I can't stand him. But I
he
mean,
Ed,
he's the
we've watched Eddie like almost kind of grow in the sport. And the one thing
yeah
I'll say
yeah
about Eddie is that he's the one guy, right or wrong, I don't know this for sure, but he's the one promoter that I feel like is genuinely or is open to genuinely trying to make fights, cross
yeah
the
I
pond,
agree.
cross promote. Like I feel like he
yeah.
is open to making something work. I've always felt
Yeah
like that about him,
yeah.
Anthony
I mean,
I
Joshua
think
aside. I'm
I mean,
Well.
mean, the thing about it is he does, but again, we go back to the conversation about the money situation. Like, I feel like he wants these fights to happen, and he tries to get these fights to happen. But there's other things. It's just like right now, I like, even though I can't stand him from time to time, I'm just like, you got to give him his props. I mean, I had one person tell me before, they was like, well, what about Oscar De La Hoya? I said, who?
Nah.
Look, I mean, I would have said Oscar. I would have, but you cannot be a promoter and be at war with your own fighter.
Oh,
Like
That I'm
your
about to
fighter
say,
hates
like,
you hate him. Like you can't
yeah.
like this
you
you
can't.
cannot be in this
You
conversation
can't
if
be
you can't
If
bucking
even
this was
keep
a
with
your
your own
own
question,
house in order.
people.
yeah. If this was a question like 3 or 4 years ago, I'll probably say Oscar and Golden Boy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Bernard Hopkins is a part of Golden Boy too. But
Yeah.
yeah, like right as it currently stands, like if I'm a boxer and I got 4 or 5 contracts on my table, like I'm signing with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Like if it's
Yeah.
my call, and not like Eddie Hearn has a solid stable of fighters, and from
Yeah.
what I can tell from the outside looking
Yeah.
in, he does what he can to get all of those guys good fights. Now, a lot of times it'll end up happening. Like we had at the time Anthony Joshua was the peak of his stable and might still be. And well, no, Terrence Crawford just signed out there, didn't he? Somebody just signed out there.
Well, under Eddie.
But yeah, it was. I think it was Terrence Crawford. No, Jerron Ennis.
Oh,
Jerron Ennis.
Boots.
Yeah.
Jerron Ennis. But like at that point
Oh,
in
yeah.
time, Anthony Joshua was the absolute peak of his stable, and for him to not make that Wilder fight happen, it's always going to sting. But
Yeah, that's
Are
what
we
I
talking
said.
about?
I said Anthony Joshua aside. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think that kind of messed up his career. That would have solidified his career with that one. And then they try to make it happen again, and Wilder lost. So I'm like,
Well, I think with that, I think once
They
once
did.
the
Oh,
once
hold
the
on, hold on.
Wilder fight didn't. Go ahead.
No, okay, I was just gonna say I'm gonna push back a little bit, Lady E, because they didn't try to make that fight. I'll tell you what they did. They tried to double dip. They put them on the same card, and Wilder definitely had a tougher opponent, by the way. But they put them on the same card when they should have been fighting each other on that
other. Yeah.
card right there. And both of them blew a huge opportunity. Wilder was clearly washed at that point. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Anthony would have destroyed him that night anyway. But at least we would have had that legacy fight on
Yeah.
on
Because
record.
I don't think we're ever gonna get that fight ever.
At this point, I wouldn't make it. Like like this. Excuse me, making that fight at this point is so far beyond like when Floyd finally fought Pacquiao. It's
Yeah.
way past that at this point.
Yeah.
Like
we're well
like,
beyond that.
I love Deontay Wilder. I think Anthony Joshua would watch him at this point. Like it's not even
At this point, right? But a few years back
then,
we didn't know it.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Yeah.
You're talking about 50-50,
Yeah, but I think as it pertains to Anthony Joshua with Eddie Hearn, I think when he was supposed to fight Jarrell Miller and they had to sub in Andrew Ruiz at the last minute, and he lost, not just lost, but got knocked out or stopped by Andrew Ruiz. I think he from that point on he was very cautious about his booking of Anthony Joshua because it was like, okay, we can build you back up, but I don't want to take a risk and you lose. And then he lost to Usyk. Usyk ran him senseless in the ring. Like he lost to Usyk. I mean, he did. Like Usyk was like, okay, you like I know I'm smaller than you. You're gonna have to come get me. And like Usyk, he made him work for it and lost. Like it's what it is. But he prior to that, he was very cautious. Like he booked him against Dillian White and like a bunch of dudes that he knew he could beat. Like he was very cautious with his booking after that.
Yeah, this, like I said, it's some fights that I kind of look back like one fight that I feel like they when you say double dip, I feel like they was doing that with Wilder and Fury. Because I'm just like, why?
I mean,
Like,
there was
why?
there was more context to that one a little bit, but
I understood.
I'm
I
with
understood
you,
the
like,
second fight. The third fight, no. The
Yeah.
second fight, I definitely understood. I understood the second fight for sure.
That third one was
You got to
That
milk
one
it
was
for all
brutal.
this
That
work
one
at
was
that point.
brutal.
Mike,
That one was brutal.
Joshua lost to Usyk
Mm-hmm.
twice.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Mike
didn't
said, yeah, twice.
Twice.
Twice. But let's move on to this last weekend's fight. Mr. Jared Anderson, Mr. Big Baby himself, took to the ring. He looked good. I will give him. I'll say the stamina was there for him. I mean, I did see around the 6th round he was trying to go for the KO, and I'm like, stop it. I need to see you go all 10 because I need you to be moving up to 12, not 10. You're kind of staying in this 10 a little bit too long for me, baby. So I need you to start making your way up to 12. But yeah, he looked good. I know a lot of people don't like the heavyweight fighters because it's a little bit boring, and I know a lot of people say that this fight was a little bit duh. But I feel like this was a good outing for him as far as stamina goes. I think that was the main concern with him. He's always trying to knock somebody out in the 1st or 2nd round, which, again, if you next up and coming, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I'm kind of hoping that we can kind of get him out of this 10 round and come up to the 12 round so he can start building, because again, right now, if they wanted to try to make him against Fury or all of them, he's going down. And I hate to say that because I love me some Big Baby. I love it, but we getting there.
I forgot that it was a 10-round fight. So your qualifier, to like, well, first of all, some segments we should announce our bias up front because we know what a big fan of Big Baby you are. And I wasn't going to let you off the hook, but then you qualified it with as far as stamina goes and showing you can go 10 rounds. I was like, all right. But my one disappointment is really in a guy that, it wasn't as skilled as him. And wasn't even particularly, active in there. A disappointment is, that he didn't get him out of there, honestly. Like, I get it. It's a balance with him. And maybe this is a process. Maybe he just, maybe that was the goal. Like, look, we're going to go 10. And if it comes, it comes, as opposed to I'm getting this dude out of here in the first couple rounds. A guy like, was it Edwin Berlanga? I remember, early on when Berlanga was coming up, okay, thank you. He was getting guys out of there like within the first round, like all the time. And the first time I think one guy like got him to go a few rounds, he appreciated. But now kind of look at where his career is. He stepped his competition up, and he's basically on the rebuilding of his own kind of career right now. So I mean, just in general, like I like that they had a plan clearly. So I'm fine with them, kind of taking it easy a little bit. But here's the thing. I mean, you're not gonna get new fans with a fight like that. No one's gonna be waiting for you to. I can't wait for Big Baby to fight again. So his next time out.
No.
It better. He better come with a better opponent.
For anybody that's trying to get into the heavyweights, but outside of like Fury and Usyk and everybody, Anthony Joshua and Wilder, like Big Baby is not. He when he first came, he was very entertaining because he was knocking people out 1st, 2nd round, like one power punch bow. But again, with him trying to be that up and comer heavyweight, he has to take a take a step back, because the first time he went I think he couldn't knock the dude out in the first time. Like about the 5th round, he was panting so hard and like he was losing that power that everybody was starting to question, does he have the stamina to go a whole full 10? Now you got to build this man up to get ready to go to a whole full 10, because if he planning on winning some belts and building a legacy, baby, them 12 rounds. Like, even close to the end, he kind of like, dude kind of got the best of him, but I can tell at that point he was gassed. It was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that last.
That last little. Okay, that was like, I'm gassed.
Oh, but hold on, I appreciate it. He knew exactly where he was in the ring, so he felt his body moving. He was like, okay, I'm gonna give it everything. So
he gave it and like
awareness.
Exactly. And it's just like at that point in time, that's where it showed me. I said, okay, he can make it to 10, but he can't make it to 10. So it's just like he has to continue to build that up. So for me, anybody that want to watch his fights, you're not going to get that excitement out of him because he's still trying to build. He's still trying to build it. And I mean, the man is 6'4", 250, trying to power punch every second of the match. Like that, you're gonna like, you know what I mean? So I think they're gonna have to go back and rescale to try to see, because I did, like I said, I want to say it around the 6 or 7. He was trying to get him up out of there. He was like, I'm like, baby, no, you gotta 10, 10. Just get the 10.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Jared Anderson is he's in a that weird space that I feel like all heavyweights come to it. So all good heavyweights
mhm.
come to at some point where it's like earlier in their career they were so good that they didn't need a great boxing skill set or they didn't need elite stamina because it wasn't a thing. Like within the first 3 rounds they was putting their opponent to sleep. Like a lot of times in the first round they're putting their opponent to sleep. And now he's at
Yeah.
that weird part where like when he fights, like you want to see that same fighter that's getting guys out of there early, but his level of competition is rising, and you also want to see him show that he can box now, that he can, which he can, that he can box and that he can go in the deep waters and not be dead tired to the point where like most of us have spent some capacity in a boxing ring at some point or been close. We've all been close to the boxing, but like we know when you get tired, it is very hard to do this when you get tired. Like
Yeah.
especially at 250 pounds. If them
Yeah.
hands come down and you get hit in your face while you are
Yeah.
dead tired on weak legs, at that point, it's not even about your ability to get your chin. It's attrition. You're just tired. You get
Yeah.
hit and your body is like, all right, cool, I'm out. I'm good. I'm tired. I'm done. Like,
Hence at the end where he fell back.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it with like Anthony Joshua when he fought Usyk. When that bell hit, he was on all fours. He not from a punch. He was just dead tired. Like
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder when Tyson Fury hit him like in the later rounds of them fights. It wasn't because the punch was that destructive. He was just dead tired.
Yeah.
Like and a
He
lot of
done.
heavyweights get to that point. Yeah, and he's kind of in that. Jared Anderson is at that point where it's like, okay, we know the ability that your potential that you have. Now you have to show the ability to do this and level up, and not just knock
Yeah.
everybody out. Because if you can't knock everybody out in the first 3 rounds, you got to show, okay, now I got to settle in and I got to be able to box and maintain. And we understand that 6'4", 250, you're a bigger human being, and a lot of the people you fight might be bigger than you are. Like those are two big men that are very tired. At some point, fatigue is going to set in, but you got to be able to last. You can't be gassed out around 3. But what I'm saying,
Exactly.
you got to get to around 7 or 8 and be able to maintain to that point, and then
Yeah. You
understand.
can't be world class and you huffing and puffing like
Yeah,
round 3.
which is why you can't go for broke trying to knock somebody out, because if you don't succeed, you've emptied the clip. You have nothing left. You
You
dead
have
tired.
nothing left.
So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You have nothing left. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're used to seeing, boxers try to go for the kill around that 6th, 7th, 8th round. We see Tank do it a lot. You know what I mean? We seen Floyd come in and kind of hit it a little bit around that 7th, 8th, 9th round, trying to go ahead because now he's warmed up and ready to go. So I feel like it's just like with him, you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit more heavier. You can't try to do that in those rounds, let alone get it. It's 10 rounds. He was trying to, size it up at the right time, but I think his corner called him back and just said, no, this is like, I mean, again, he wasn't going against no fighter that I would have never saw him lose to anyway. But I feel like this was just something for him to try to work on that stamina a little bit more to build that up. Because again, I'm hoping and praying he get his first 12 round by next year. I'm hoping. I don't want him to be waiting till 2026 to get that first 12 round, because I'm like, your development is a little bit slow, baby. It's a little bit slow.
My only gripe with him was because he wasn't looking for the knockout, I guess. So he wanted the game plan was to go to 4-10 rounds. I wanted him to showcase a little bit more than just the 1-2. Like he just 1-2 the guy, because the guy clearly wasn't up to par, which is fine. But I would have liked him to showcase a little bit more.
I feel like he has a little bit more, but I think just where he's at right now, that's just more simpler for him.
Yeah. He like,
just,
if I'm focused on stamina, I'm gonna just 1-2,
and
just
yeah.
I'm gonna get the stamina part done.
Exactly. And like I said, we seen it. I think that, like I said, I forgot which fight it was, but he was gassed by the 5th. That man was so gassed by the 5th, it wasn't even funny, because he used up all his power in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, trying to knock that dude out.
Charles Martin probably he should have got Charles Martin out of there, and the only reason that fight lasted as long as it did is because he was dead tired.
He was dead tired, yeah.
Like Charles Martin was no disrespect to Charles Martin, but like Charles Martin, I forget which belt it was. I want to say WBO maybe, I don't remember, but Charles Martin was a heavyweight champion at one point in his career.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say put some respect on Mario.
No.
Experience.
He was a heavyweight champion at one point. I don't think he was a deserving champion, but he was a champion regardless. A champion is a champion. I've never been heavyweight champion. You feel me? So, but I feel like just the quality of fighter that Charles Martin is. Again, with all due respect, I think Jared Anderson is a better fighter, and it shouldn't have got to that point where he was dead tired and Charles Martin is landing clean shots on him in the 7th, 8th, 9th rounds of the fight.
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense. That makes perfectly good sense. All right, next topic that we have is Tank and Shakur going at it all day on freaking Twitter, man. Y'all just need a fight already.
Yeah.
This is one of those boxing matches that it's 50-50 right now. We may never see. We may get to see. We don't know. I mean, they talking some good little smack going on right now. So what are y'all thoughts about this?
It's quality trash talk from both of them. I was impressed.
I missed a lot of it because I was at work. I saw
Quality
bits and pieces of it, but I missed a lot of it though while I was at work.
Yeah, the right things are being said. The right things are being said.
Yeah, I mean, you don't got to. Okay, I love that. I love that, Slim. The right things are being said. I love that.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in real quick. Look, y'all, because here's the thing. Y'all gonna roll your eyes, but I'm dead serious right now. This started when Devin Haney dominated Regis Progress. He beat that boy so bad that all the attention shifted to Tank, and we were all like, "Well, I was already like this," but certain fans started to come around.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Right. They were like, "Bro, maybe you should be stepping up your game too," because it's hard to describe, but you saw the conversations happening on social media and Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Like people were starting to talk about level of comp. It was starting to become a thing now because now we got Devin in his first fight at 140, dominating after being undisputed, and it's just like, does Tank want to fight this guy? Regardless of how you feel it's going to play out, right? But ever since then, ever since Devin left and vacated and these belts started to float around, the level of intensity, it became like significant because people wanted to be champion. You could say, Tank, I know, reluctant, about receiving that belt because he already knew what was coming, the email titles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the fun of it all for the fans. But in general, no one was really, really talking about level of comp until Devin set the standard. Their peers setting the standard. Even Ryan Garcia, not being on a level as far as skill or accomplishment, but willing to mix it up, And the conversation started to shift. Like these guys talk a lot, but what are we getting in return for all of this talk? And I'm so glad. Like it was actually a random guy in there who has like I checked. He had like 200 followers, and it was some random guy who somehow spurred these two against each other off of Shakur saying, that one of his friends or whatever, punched Tank in the face when they were like younger or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's so amazing to me. Just some random fan got this high level back and forth going between the two. Like, breathe. You got to go back and just try to catch some of it.
I saw.
Listen, man.
I'm just glad they're talking, and Slim said it right. The right things are being said.
Yeah.
I did see where Tank said
things that can't just be left in the air. You know what I'm saying? I don't like trash talking that just things can just be left in the air.
100.
And we could just find a way to just move on to the next fight and it be forgotten about. Nah, these things being said is we're gonna have to get some answers for these. And the only way for us to get answers in these sports is for, those two variables to step in the ring together. So it definitely, it's just nice to see, Twitter fingers harassing somebody else fighter other than mine.
Yeah, it is refreshing, to hear two people going back and forth with each other within the same division, when it
Yeah.
actually matters. But not to get too deep in the weeds, but Shakur, from what I understand, this is his last fight with Top Rank anyway, and he's about to be a free agent. And on the flip side, Tank just, I think, announced that he's on a new 7-fight deal, with Al Heyman. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the easiest path here is for Shakur to sign, with
With Heyman.
PBC to get in the mix there. But to Slim's point, the way that these guys are, I'm including them both. The way that they are all this bark and very little bite when it comes to the level of competition part, or in Shakur's case, the actual activity of fighting. But
Yeah.
all bark and all bite, like, I'm willing to bet Shakur probably sidesteps that whole situation. He probably gets around it somehow. Like, I don't get told who to sign with, and I'm my own man. Like, he's gonna do the bravado thing he usually does, and then end up, running from some dude who, might have some power, but not even, half the skill, just because well, you
Mhm.
already know how I feel. But
Just
And
I
can
hope they find a way to win.
I
and,
just
and
go ahead, my
go
fault,
ahead,
Rob. Go ahead.
Breeze.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and like to kind of speak back on the money part of diluting the sport. It being so much money leads to folks who not in a position of power to kind of dictate and move like they are. And
Yeah,
when you ain't done nothing at this particular weight class, because you have a following, or because you was making money fighting other guys, you think you can come in and kind of dictate who you're going to fight or how much you're going to get in terms of
hmm
negotiating the things. And I think that also plays a big part in why fights be, it be procrastinating on when we get the fight instead of just getting it right then and there in the thick of them talking, going back and forth. Like you would think, with Shakur getting thrown another bone in his hometown, but they about to throw him a bone for his last fight with Top Rank, which is cool, fine. Um, you got Loma and Cambosis locked in, and then you got Frank and Tank locked in. You would think after these three situations is done, the dust is cleared, and three dudes
yeah.
should be standing there, and we should see two of those three fighting each other. You would think that's how it pans out. But like Bando
That's
said,
how it should be. Right.
dudes know how to Ali shuffle better than Ali nowadays. So
Hey, hey, remember it was Shakur in an interview when asked about Frank and what happened there. He was the first to say, I won't cuss on this thing, but he was the first to say, hey man, Frank is a B and he a straight
yeah,
P and all this other stuff,
yeah,
all
That's
yeah,
because, Frank needed a little bit more in the pot. But he tried to attack him in a way like he's scared. You know what I mean? And that still never sat right with me. And he's about to be in the same position because Tank definitely gonna lowball him.
yeah,
And whether you feel
absolutely.
like that offer that Devin sent Shakur was real or not, because Shakur and Top Rank can't get their stories right, by the way. Because Shakur said it was real and it wasn't real almost in the same damn day. And Bob Arum had to come in and smooth things out, like, nah, it wasn't really real. But anyway, uh, we're about to
I
find
just
out, how real Shakur is right now after this fight.
I just don't understand. I mean, I understand like I understand, but like in this macho bravado, I'm bigger, better than you are, sport of boxing that we're discussing.
Yep.
If at the end of the day, and I understand money has to play a role because you got to get paid. Got it. But if you sit here and tell me enough times that you gonna beat me in a fight, and I feel like no, you can't. There is no better way to prove you wrong than to get in the ring and beat you up. Like I just don't
Yeah.
like. I miss the
Yeah.
days
Because they're
like.
not built like that no more. They're not built
But
like that
see,
no more.
like to ease earlier point, like I would never say that Floyd Mayweather is to blame for anything, but he's an influence.
He's
And the
Yeah.
scapegoat.
influence, I mean, yeah, like the influence
They
of Floyd
only they
going,
only they only talk about Money Mayweather. They never
yeah,
they always ignore the
Money,
fact
Mayweather.
that Pretty
I knew
Boy
it right.
Floyd did things the right way for a long period
long
of
Oh,
time.
time
yeah.
to earn the right to then do
Yeah,
the cherry
Yeah,
picking or whatever you
dudes
want
be
to
he
call it.
was
11. They be
truly
11-0
like
trying to cherry pick fights. Like it
Yeah.
don't work like that. Like you gotta like. I understand you gotta sell fights and all of
yeah,
that, but like at the
yeah.
end of the day, like if you tell me you can beat me in a fight, and I feel like you can't beat me in a fight, at some point we're gonna line it up, and I'm gonna beat you. And if you the better man that day, so be it. We can line it back up and do it again. You beat me twice. Hey, shake my hand. You got it, bro. Like you know what I mean? It is what it
For me,
is. But
Breeze, it's like
Yeah.
if there's a mutual respect between me and you, right? And we're trying to make this fight happen, that's when I can understand folks is trying to get the most money on both sides. But the way these dudes talk like an opponent is just so sweet, oh, you ain't got no power, da 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 da, walk you down, this and that. I would think at that point that it's in my interest to just take maybe what's lesser than I would, want, because I'm gonna just clean you up anyway. You know what I
but
mean?
this is my thing though, right? If
Yeah.
I'm a Shakur Stevenson, and I feel like, and not just I feel like, but like most people feel like he has all the talent in the, he's born as hell, but he has all the talent in the world, right? If
Yeah. I hate to
if
admit
I
it, right?
like, it is what it is. If a championship, if a title holder, a belt holder tells me, all right, we can fight, but the split gonna be 80-20, that's gonna sting. But if I feel like I'm gonna win that, if I feel like I can win that fight, I'm going to take that 20. I'm going to take your belt, and then I can make whatever I want to make.
Then
Because now it's
I'm
my
dictator.
right. Now it's my belt. Yeah, give me that 20. I'm gonna take your belt with it. But like you said, dude's not wild like that no more.
Yeah.
Everything, no,
But
it's
that's where
50-50.
you again, but
And
that's where you
that's
see
what Devin did
folks
with Cambosis. That's what Devin
He did.
yeah.
and that's where you see folks like as much as folks hide, like Bando said, like there's ways for the purists and the fans who are really following on a day-to-day, week-to-week type of thing to we can see through that. We can understand when
Yeah.
somebody's trying to get what they deserve or when somebody's just faking the funk, because when
Oh,
your
yeah.
actions don't match the tone of your words, you know what I'm saying?
Thank
Because
you.
it's not necessarily in this sport. It's not just what you saying. It's how you saying it. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, because everybody's going to say they're the best. Everybody's going to, talk
Right.
like they'll fight anybody. That's what you're supposed to do. But
And it's
how,
on
you
God,
know,
on my
yeah,
mother, you not on God,
yeah,
everybody's full on, right? But I tweet at least once a week. I don't care what they say. I watch what they do. I watch what they do. And I watch a guy like Tank disappear for 3 years as a guy like Devin went undisputed. And people act like that didn't happen. And I can't, I'm never letting that go until they get in the ring. You got to show me
and, and,
he's better
Yeah.
than him. You got to show me.
and
Yeah.
and because you see one knocking out most of his opponents, and
Yes,
you in your mind that leads you to believe that he will win the fight. So because you have in your
lesser
mind that he's
opponent,
going to win, then
lesser opponent.
automatically the other guy is the one that's ducking because you believe the
Yeah,
one fighter will win the fight. So the guy who you think is going to lose, he automatically has to be the one ducking when he's really the one showing with his actions that he's going about business in the right manner. Because if you chase greatness in this sport, the money will follow. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You chase
yeah, for sure.
money, and you're gonna have to continue to chase money because you're gonna lose out on that path through legacy. So
Yeah, but like again, that's part of that influence of Floyd Mayweather, where because Floyd got filthy rich going 50-0 or whatever it ended up being officially, dudes are terrified to lose a fight. Like nowadays, losing a fight is damn near career suicide,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be. It
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 shouldn't
should.
happened to
be.
Spence. It
Yeah,
happened to
But
Spence.
but if you lose one fight
it shouldn't be.
versus an elite level fighter, now if I'm Javante Davis and I lose to somebody that's ranked 25th, oh yeah, my career is probably screwed up. But if I'm ranked number one and I lose to number two, like how does that kill my career?
Yeah.
He's number 2 for
Right.
he's
Right.
my mandatory challenger for a reason.
Yeah. And
Like
in
Right.
this sport, it's all situational. Is the losing, how a loss affects one fighter and to the next is different. How how much competition is in your weight class. You know what I mean? That matters for how many losses you can and cannot have on your record, and things of that nature. So I definitely agree with you on that one. Everybody's scared to get that one, and that one is basically like suicide at this point. You trying to,
Yeah.
everything is about having 230-0 fighters fight each other. And at that point, like, those true grudge matches that turn into, rematches and trilogies and things of that nature, is like those days are far in between because of this
Yeah.
whole type of landscape
Because
nowadays where
Shakur definitely should have ran that back with De Los Santos. Like that's an easy run back right there. And for
easy
everyone,
easy
saying blame
easy run
Floyd, they
back.
blame Floyd, but Floyd rematched Castillo. Floyd even later when he was
he
money,
fought
he
Madonna.
Madonna.
rematched
He
Marcos
Madonna twice.
Madonna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they not built like Floyd no more.
Like, I mean, hell, Pacquiao
And
fought what's his name, like 6 times.
Because my thing is,
Oh yeah.
at 135, at 135, with these two still being very early in their trajectories, Shakur and Devin could have fought at 135 and then still could have fought down the road again.
yeah.
Yeah. But this, like, think about it like this, right? Like Devin, I know the whole story about Devin Haney turning pro at 16 and fighting in Mexico and all that.
Yeah.
When Devin Haney's, I guess, American record first started to count, if Devin Haney would still as the Devin Haney that we know him as right now, if he'd have lost his 10th fight and been 9-1, he never gets to this point he's at right now. With all the skill and ability he still has, he never gets to this point right now because he has that one loss. Like, it's crazy that boxing has gotten to that point where, like, it's. I think that has hurt boxing more than the money has.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree
Yeah, I
about
mean
that,
it's
especially.
it's 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 hard it's hard to say it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm uh, with Canelo in what was it, Benavidez,
Yeah.
trying to sit over here, and he's talking about, well, he don't want to do it because of dehydration clause. Okay, take it out so we can get the fight. What's so hard about that? Like, it's
Bro.
now starting to get to where we're nitpicking certain
Right.
things like that. You know what I mean, like,
Yep.
I'm not fighting you with this in here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I feel like been like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like we're just getting there, and just where, like we're saying, that some of these fighters are just not trying to do certain things. They're just not trying to do it. Again, I want this Tank and Shakur, because I like both of them. I want to see this. You know what I mean? Even though, like, did lose that one, like, watching that live, unfortunately, that hurt. I thought Phil's gonna beat the hell out of Crawford. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie. Ain't gonna lie about
I
that
mean,
one.
some
But
guys like Canelo, have earned
Some
certain
slack.
perks, and
Yeah.
I think I probably give Canelo more slack than most because I know the work. I know the work he's put in, so it's almost like the only thing I wish is that he would just clear, like, just like, look, I just don't want to fight him. like I don't know how. Like, I know that probably ends his career at that point because he
Yeah.
can't just say I don't want to fight him, but it's clear for anyone who follows he don't want to fight him.
That's why I
So
just tell people,
he's put
just
in
let it
mad
go.
work. He's
Just
fought
let it
a
go.
bunch of groups.
yeah,
Exactly.
And I always
It's not
told
happening.
people,
Boots and Crawford not fighting either, by the way.
and I've told folks with Canelo, like, if he was going to fight Benavidez, it's surely not 20. It's not going to be in 24. So just cancel that one. But
If it was,
yeah,
they'd be
nah,
fighting in 2 weeks if that was the case.
Right.
I
yeah,
definitely understand everyone's frustration with wanting to see that. I think it's more the timing with them, that's kind of uh, been the reason why they haven't, really locked that in to this point. But it's one of those ones that you definitely want to see. I definitely would like to see him either fight Bivol again or fight Benavidez before it's all said and done. But he's also done enough where it's like I just appreciate Canelo getting in the ring at this point.
Point.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
His legacy set.
Exactly.
His legacy set. You know.
Exactly. I love him. I like even though I'm not a big fan of like a lot of the Mexican fighters, but I like Canelo. Canelo's all right with me. He's the only one I know that
Yeah,
can go
Canelo's
fight at the Cowboy Stadium and have the whole city of Arlington shut down with the Mexican flag from when you see everybody. So I respect Canelo. He
yeah.
got the people crossing the border to come see this man. So I respect him a lot when it comes down to that. He do. He do.
Only
I
problem
seen
is he don't go back.
okay, he don't. He don't. He don't. All right, let's go ahead and get to these cards with these upcoming fights that we're excited to see. The summer's looking very jam packed. I mean, we start May off with Canelo, taking his annual, Cinco de Mayo,
Yeah.
fight. So we're gonna see that on May 4th on this Saturday. But what other fights that have came out that you guys are highly anticipating? Because it's a lot of fights that dropped over the course of the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
Well, of course, we all looking forward
Yeah,
to
I had to look down at my list real quick.
Yeah, me too.
for right off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the two championship fights at 135. What else?
with Loma and Cam.
Loma and Cam, and then Tank and Frank. Um, those are
Yeah.
probably the two biggest ones because again, it's been so much competition at 135 that we trying to see the dust kind of settle there, and it, folks should start eliminating themselves, and we should start seeing those guys kind of the top guys kind of meet at the crossroads at this point. It's been a couple years in the mix where they've been kind of shuffling around, not fighting each other. How they've made it this long is beyond me, but at this point, it's good to see them bumping heads. So those are probably the two off the top of my head that I could think of. I know Xander Hayes got a fight as well coming up.
I think
Uh,
the most obvious one. I didn't want to lead with it, but the most obvious one for me is Better BF and Bevo because
Bevel.
somebody
Yeah,
leaving
yeah,
out on a stretcher. I
yeah,
yeah.
that's gonna be a good one.
somebody not gonna make. They gonna have to. Someone's gonna be holding someone's head and putting the flashlight in their eyes, kind of deal. But really, I'm very interested in Cambosis and Loma because Cambosis, he's been looking like better to me. Like not just like the training clips. I'm someone in the ring. Like he looks like he's got a new fire, and I want to see what Loma has left and where Cam is too. I'm interested in that one, but there's no fight that I'm more interested in than Tank Davis and Frank Martin. There's no fight
Yes.
that I'm more interested in because this is by all accounts, and I thought it was just me. I thought I was just being a hater, but I'm seeing the same thought everywhere. By all, well, I would say by all, by a lot of accounts, this is the best opponent. Stylistically, just no excuses, no catches, no rehydrations, no pulling you up from lower weights, no going up to higher weights because you're a bum. Like this is like the best opponent he's had in probably 3 years, and I just cannot wait to see this. And I've said it before. If Tank does the Frank, what he's been doing, these other lower tier guys, I will be the first to give him my respect, but he's going to have to earn that. And I'm thinking, and Frank's going to make him earn it. And just as an aside, I'm definitely going to put a little money on Frank Martin because I know he's going to be a heavy favorite because these casual fans that follow Tank and ride for him, Like no matter what, I'm talking about. No matter if he had got that Ben fight, that Conor Ben fight, they still would have been riding for him. They would have been, nothing about skipping over Devin Haney and none of that. So he's gonna be a heavy underdog, and I'm gonna put a little bit of change on it, and we gonna see what it is. We're gonna see what it is. But that's
Yeah,
the fight I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah,
yeah,
Frank and
definitely.
Tank is a solid. Is hard to argue with that one. So I won't
Yeah.
pick that one. I'm gonna go with I've been waiting for this fight for a minute, so I'm gonna go with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think Alexander,
Oh yeah.
although
Mhm.
he's really a cruiserweight, like he's not a real heavyweight fighter.
yeah. He's a cruiserweight.
But I think he might be the best just boxing skill. He's a top three boxer in the world right now, just as far as pure boxing skill. I think Usyk is going to end
Yeah.
up becoming a unified heavyweight champion.
No sir.
Um, so I mean,
No,
listen,
no
I
sir.
Wouldn't that be something?
I
No sir.
I I
No
think.
sir.
I mean, he already got three of the belts already.
No, I hear you, but
But
again, like the you don't get a motivated Gypsy King and
I
he
understand.
not win.
I understand. I don't think what I'm saying. Like Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight boxer. Like, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't fought anybody like Usyk.
No, he
Yeah.
has.
And
He has.
No, he hasn't.
all of his smaller opponents, he's weighed in like super heavy and just leaned on the whole fight. Usyk is not going to allow. He's not going to let him do that. He's going to do the same thing he did to Joshua. Like, you going to have to come get these belts. Like, come get this smoke. And Tyson Fury, I don't think is equipped to chase Alexander Usyk around the ring for 12 rounds, trying to land a big fight and lean on him. Usyk is not going to let him do it. So I think it's going to end up being a great fight. If Tyson Fury takes this fight seriously, which he has every reason to do so, I think it'll be a candidate for fight of the year. I truly think that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can see it. I can see it. No, those are, like I said, all of those fights are good. I think, like I said, I
Yeah.
mean, I know last year, we got an extra treat in boxing last year, especially with Spence and Crawford and a couple of others. So I think this year, I think I think we put a lot of emphasis on we want to see some great boxing matches happen this year to kind of compete with what last year is, and I feel like it's starting to live up to it. So we got a jam-packed summer. Again, I want to see all of them.
Crazy. It's
Again,
gonna be
it's
crazy.
like it's gonna be crazy. It
yeah.
really is. I feel like this is gonna be a crazy summer for boxing, for real, for real. I'm excited because I was hoping for something like this. It kind of started off real slow, just a little bit. Started off a little bit slow, but we're getting it, and and then we, I don't want to say this is a kickoff match, but this leads into this little segue with Haney and Garcia. I feel like even with this one, this is a start of something that we kind of want to see, but we kind of already know, and and the thing about it is what makes this fight just for me a little bit blah is Garcia acting up. That man Delulu.
Yeah,
He
for
Delulu.
me,
The Lulu ain't the word. Shorty is like
he's mentally challenged, but
he's yeah. As the old
pray,
folks
pray,
would say, he a little touched. He a little touched, man. Like
prayers up for that man.
He wasn't standing in front of the doorway eating cereal with a helmet on, was he?
maybe
He
not
was
back
doing
then, but
something. He
Okay.
was
I
doing
mean,
something. He was. I don't know.
I mean, because
I take
I'll be
take
like,
it
honest
with a
look, you
grain
see,
of
we're
salt.
all struggling to even talk about
Yeah,
him.
you're over like every time
I'll
I
say
see
this.
you, you're always pushing somebody. You're always pushing somebody. You're always calling somebody the B word. They're this, they're that. You're always doing the same thing, bruh. And you did it
yeah.
to Tank and he knocked you out. Are you concussed? Are you good? Are you straight? Did he knock some screws loose? What did he do? Because
He's an internet sensation. He's not a prize fighter. So the folks allow themselves to be fooled into thinking that he is such because he's got a little hand speed, he's
a
got a
lot of
little
people forget
power,
that too.
he's a natural athlete, but he's an internet sensation.
Like Ryan Garcia came to popularity off Instagram
He's
and
not a prize
TikTok and
fighter.
stuff like that. Like
He didn't get it, as the young folks say. He did not get it out the mud.
what I got one question, and this is a little bit. This is a little bit off topic from this. Why do we let internet sensations like that come into the boxing world when a lot of these people like you said got it out the mud. Like we some people were shooting with them in the gym. Why are we letting somebody come on to our 5-man team or coming to try to be a bench player when we've been playing this game for so long?
I mean, the difference with Ryan Garcia. Ryan
Yeah, I'm about
Garcia
to
was
say,
actually a boxer, and
yeah, give him a little
he
respect.
did. Yeah, Ryan Garcia was actually a boxer already, and he just
Thank you.
gained
I'm glad
popularity on
somebody said
social
because I
media.
was about to say it. Okay.
Yeah. Like Ryan Garcia, he used social media to build his platform, but he's not just a social media
Right.
personality. Now you want to start talking about Jake Paul and
We ain't gonna
KSI.
we not even gonna
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about that
no.
man.
Okay,
We just not
thank
even
you,
gonna talk about that
thank
man.
you, thank
Cause
you, thank you,
I like
thank you.
we don't even have to waste a breath on that man. We
But
already know. We just waiting for that day that man get knocked the hell out.
okay.
Same
So
as the race
but
out
look,
quick.
we got to keep it real. The real reason this fight is important, specifically for Devin, right? The real reason this fight is important is because for all the people who focused on pay-per-view numbers and sales and gate and use these things to build up these excuses and reasons why these fights can't happen, this is an important fight for Devin. I'm glad he got it initially because he deserved this kind of payday because he goes through the fire more than anybody else in and around that division. So he deserved that payday. But as far as like advancing his career, there's some pressure on him here. He can't do anything about the sales per se. And Ryan, thankfully, basically been doing all the heavy lifting. Him and
Yeah,
maybe Bill Haney to a degree. But Ryan's been the one, like driving this thing, and Haney's been kind of on, along for the ride. That being said, anything less than, maybe y'all can give me a number too, but I would say anything less than about, 700 pay-per-view buys, anything less than that, going to be held against Devin, one way or the other. But again, sales aside, because he can't do anything about that part, he's kind of got some pressure to get Ryan out of there, because you're at
yeah,
140. There's no catches. There's no rehydration clauses. You're supposed to be better, healthier, punching stronger now. You know, people expect you to get Ryan out of there, and that's why for a second I was going to say, look, Ryan, don't like Ryan. He wilding right now, but he was putting in the work in the amateurs and the
yeah.
Olympics and all. Like he's doing all the stuff. He's got the pedigree, but at one point he made a decision that one thing was going to be more important than the other thing. That social media was going to be
Yeah.
more important than being a professional boxer. He made that decision, and so it's like for me, I don't know. Are we doing picks? Are we doing picks on this one or what?
I mean,
You
we
can.
can.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do picks.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm just saying for me, obviously I don't think anyone on here thinks Ryan's gonna win, but for me, I don't necessarily think there's a stoppage coming. I would love to see it. I'm talking about as far as like for Devin's sake, but a 12 round dominant performance akin to what he did to Progress, maybe even putting Ryan down once or twice, like that would be sufficient enough for me. But I know there's anything less than 700K is going to be held against him. Anything less than a stoppage is going to be held against him. So I hope for his sake he gets both. Just so we can really
Yeah.
put some gas to that next big fight, whether it's Tank or Teo. I don't think Matthias really want that work. He already talking about progress right now. So, but I want that next big opportunity for Devin.
Yeah, and I echo your sentiments. Um, I think the stoppage could happen. I
Yeah.
think this is one of the few times where I really see Devin speaking towards wanting to stop somebody, or going out with the intention to stop someone. I would lean towards it being the tip, just like the Progress fight being the domination, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan touched the canvas a couple times, but him not be stopped. But the 700, I think you can chalk that one. I don't see that happening. And like you said, it will be held against him, but that'll be held against him. But he won't get the brownie points for taking the 45.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I mean?
Where
He
do you think it'll
won't.
be the pay-per-view number?
I don't know what the number will be. I just don't see him reaching 700. Again,
Ain't nobody
he
trying to
just
pay that $80 for this.
he just not he's
It's the
not.
card. Like it's the card that's
It's
hurting them
always
too on this
It's
one.
also it's gonna be the card. That's
the
what I'm saying. Ain't nobody
realists
trying to pay no
understand
$80
that
for
it's the
this.
card in totality, but he just not a exciting
He's not a
fighter, like, you know
superstar.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody don't see the beauty in how he dismantled Cambosis in front of his people, twice,
Right.
you know what I mean,
Right.
in 24 rounds, to have lost maybe 8 rounds is
Yeah.
just as
Yeah.
dominant as going out and knocking somebody head loose in 6 rounds. But most people that are spending money nowadays aren't holding the two equal. So Devin, his path has taken a hit because of it. But I definitely echo all the Bando's sentiments, as I hope he stops him.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that being realistic. I don't really see them hitting the 700, just because the card is just is
Yeah.
literally a one fight. It's a one fight card with
Card, yeah.
a guy that has a huge following, but his following in the whole world seen what happened to him his last fight, and then a guy who isn't,
Well, but
most
the fight
people's.
before last.
Yeah, the fight before last, my bad. And then the
Right.
last fight, he won the fight, but he had blips in that fight where it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
maybe he wouldn't,
Yeah.
get across the finish line. So, and then the other guy coming is just not most people's cup of tea. So it just doesn't, equal 700 to me.
Yeah.
I feel
I
you.
mean, it's
I
the
feel you.
wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't a whole lot more to be said. I think Devin's gonna win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that Ryan has done outside of taking the shirt off and shadow boxing, has shown that he's in shape or prepared for the fight. Like I said earlier, he walks around in shape. So I'm not. My
Yeah.
concern is not him being in shape for the fight. Like he walks
Right.
around in shape. That's fine. Which is being in physical shape and boxing shape are two different things. But whatever, chalk it out. Chalk it up. But like, I just don't think he's prepared for the fight. He doesn't seem to be taking it seriously. Like all the answers, there's a point where it's like, okay, he's selling the fight. Ryan Garcia passed that like months ago. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's
Yeah.
gone. Like he's so far past that at this point.
Man.
To the point like today when Devin Haney was like, "Yo, what's something wrong with this dude?" Like I agree. Like when
Yeah.
Devin Haney said it, he didn't say it like he was talking about, man, this dude crazy. Like he said it like, "Yo, it's really something wrong."
Like there
It was
was
Yeah.
a
like the
genuine
tone of his
worry
voice
there.
was like,
There
"It's
was a
really."
genuine
Yeah,
worry.
it was
Yeah.
like there's something wrong with this dude. Like I don't think I do. I think it's most likely to end in a stoppage. I think Ronald hit the canvas twice. Um, it just I don't know, man. I think the more we see Ryan Garcia in an actual boxing ring with a live opponent, the further his stock drops. What he's great at, which is his hand speed, is great for social media and TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. And any of the four of us can go in a gym and hit a heavy bag and look like champions. You know what I mean? Like if you have any slight athletic ability, what I'm saying? You have any slight athletic ability and any boxing acumen, you can make yourself look good doing that. I just think that when Ryan Garcia's in the ring facing live bullet, like he's hit the canvas in what, two of his last three fights, three of his last four
Yeah.
fights, something like that. Like,
Yeah. Something like
granted, he
that.
was able to he was able to come back. I think it was Jack Campbell. He was able to come back and beat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't see it. I think Devin Haney's a far superior boxer. The only thing Ryan Garcia does better than Devin Haney is his hand speed. And again,
Yeah.
in a live boxing match, sitting there doing like this as fast as you can doesn't work. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's just I got Devin. I'll
Yeah,
say
I think
7 or 8.
he'll have the quote unquote puncher's chance. I think a lot of with Ryan is you see the athlete and you see the talent, but
Mm-hmm.
clearly with all his antics this time around and just the way his career is kind of went, you see there's just no stability around him. There's no stability in his corner. There's no stability with his promotion. Like there's
I
just
mean,
no
for real.
stability there in no aspect. So you just it's hard to ever expect to see the best of the fighter. Um, and again, like when he's in these matches with guys who are, you know, near and around his level, it'll look like the fights that he's been winning. Where they'll put up a fight and his talent will probably get him across the line more times than that. But whenever it's going to be that fight to kind of put him over, and you know, we start looking at him
Yeah.
as one of these star fighters, I think he's just going to always come up short because he'll never be prepared enough.
Yeah. He's a B fighter. That's what it is. He's
Yeah.
a B level fighter.
Didn't Haney take less on this and
Yeah.
gave Garcia more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Breeze was saying. He was saying he's not going to get his credit for, or maybe Slim said, I don't remember. He said he's not going to get
Yeah.
his credit for taking, the short side of the deal to make this fight.
Yeah.
So it's all good. His career is going to continue regardless. But I'm just saying for him, I want a great performance, for him, because if at any moment, he doesn't look completely dominant, all you already know what it's gonna look like on Twitter. Like what it's gonna look like, regardless of the ultimate outcome. If Devin
Yeah.
slips even for a second,
Second,
one of them
yeah.
quick left hooks, catches him at the end of a round or something, they're gonna be like, see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I do feel like Haney is gonna win. I do feel a KO coming. So I just,
All
again,
y'all heavy on the KO.
I don't
I'm
think it'll be a knockout. I think it'll be like a stoppage. Like
Yeah, it would have to be a late round stoppage for me. I just see typical 9-3, 10-2 on the cards. Like I see it just being a long day for Ryan. It would have to be a
Yeah,
late round stoppage for me.
Hey, I
yeah.
mean, Brian kind of got a strong chin, but it ain't that strong.
Yeah, no,
mm,
it's not. It's not.
Yeah, so
But
he
I
my
been
mean,
thing
getting
with
tested lately.
yeah,
Devin is so where everybody thinks is the lack of power at 140. I'm not seeing a lack of power. He's just not a hunter. Like
yeah,
we've seen him complete,
Yeah,
like literally
I mean, Devin had
he
knockout of the
stunned
year like 4 years
Pogradas
ago.
almost every round. He was stunning him, and just he's not going to hunt once he see you stun. He's just going to keep attacking the game plan, keep fighting.
yeah. I mean, and that's good. Give Brian a run for his money. But
that's
I
a great.
mean, like
That's a
I
great way to say it.
said, I mean, it's just like right now, like I said, it's I just don't. I mean, I don't know who said it that this might be it for Ryan. I've been felt like after the Tank fight that was it. I never really felt to him to even get another one, and for him to get this type of one, I'm like, okay, this has to be it, bro. Like, there's I don't know what more you can do at this
I
point.
think I think after this he can go up to 147, and trust me, it's lots of crumbs up there to be had. So
Are we sure he want those crumbs though?
Yeah, you got a point, Slim. I didn't even think about like what that looked like for the next person going up to welterweight. There's nothing there. So like
Yeah,
I'd pick Ryan Garcia over Mario Barrios. I would. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
know I know it'd be a
anybody
close competitive fight for the most part, but I'd pick Ryan
anybody
over
not
him.
named Boots.
Burrows is a tough out though.
Yeah,
Like
hmm
you can beat him, but like you won't have to like beat him up. Like he's not gonna he got that
yeah, he's
Aztec
not
Right. That's
gonna
what I
warrior
said. I'm
KO.
not
something.
saying
Yeah,
it'd be a
Like,
wash.
but
Right.
it's
You
another
gotta earn it.
good fight
You
though.
gotta
It's
earn
another
it.
good fight for
yeah,
Ryan though.
yeah.
Speaking of which, I know I didn't put this on
Yeah.
the agenda, but little Pitbull Cruz. I know he had a fight recently about the little pit. See, one I didn't I know he's short, but it just irks my nerves every time I see him box because he boxed like this in his shoulders and everything is like it's just like I'm like dude like I'm like I know you're short, but you ain't got no neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
compact. Yeah, he's compact.
you ain't got no neck. Remind me who he fought because my brain is drawn very
Yeah.
much a blank, and I've been trying to think
Rolly.
about
Hey.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
He still
Rolly.
works for him.
Rolly. Okay. So
Rolly
let me ask this
Romero.
question about Rolly. Let's
And
ask this question
I
about
I'll
Rolly.
be the
Is
first I'll
Rolly
be the
done?
first to say
Go
What
ahead,
you were
Beto. What
saying?
you
I'm
E?
probably I would say as far as fanhood goes, probably the biggest Romero supporter, and I was highly surprised and disappointed. And honestly, yeah, I think that's a wrap for Rolly as far as being taken seriously as
Yes.
a world class fighter. He was raw to start with, but I honestly thought his skill, like his boxing ability, would be enough to navigate all of that, Marcos Maidana style, like high level stalking. I thought he could get out of that. He obviously could not. And
Yeah.
so I think that's it for Rolly as far as being a high level, competitor at this weight class.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he'll continue to fight for paydays, but I agree with you as far as getting opportunities to fight for belts and stuff like that and be highly ranked. I don't see
So
it.
for me, going into that fight, I also was one that was predicting Rolly to win pretty convincingly. So I was completely impressed by Pitbull at 140. I did not. Like I always know he's got the heart, the toughness, and the output, but the manner in which he executed his game plan was very impressive to me. And
Yeah.
Rolly could never, he could never get out his corner. Like he was running from the jump. So
I mean,
I
he
mean,
ran from the jump and he got injured very early too. Because I kept calling it. I said a KO was finna happen. It's about to happen. The KO is gonna happen. I said I feel it coming. It's gonna come here pretty soon. Because Rolly was already weak in the knees from the second round. He was already weak in the knees, and
by
I
the
just
way,
Hey,
already knew.
Rolly got heart though. Okay, he never got knocked down. Rolly got heart.
yeah.
don't watch no fight with E, man. ETV be like 45 seconds ahead. He's pre- I'm on the phone with E watching the fight. She already said that the fight was over. I'm still watching him in the corner, man. Don't watch no fool. Can't watch no fight with E, man.
Look,
But
I'm
yeah, man,
sorry. Okay,
like
like it's
like
I look. You should have told me you was that far behind. I would have shut up. You know what
I
I'm
tried
saying?
to, but nah,
Yeah,
Pitbull Cruz definitely he earned his nickname. Like he earned every
yeah.
bit of his nickname that fight. Like he walked Rolling down, he stalked him. Like he earned every bit of that Pitbull nickname. I thought Rolly was gonna win. I won't say I thought he was gonna win convincingly, but I thought he was going to win like on points. But for it to end like that, like he didn't. I don't think he didn't win around that fight, did he? Like
No.
maybe one,
Nah,
maybe
he was
Maybe.
hurt
one.
from
Like
round one. He was done.
Yeah,
yeah, like
Yeah,
like his legs was cooked. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like like Pitbull. Like
I mean,
Cruz.
he tried to come back. I will give him that, and I want to say it was like around that fifth round he tried to come back, but Pitbull was like, "Okay, I'm gonna let you come over here and come do that. Come on, ding ding, boom boom
But
boom boom boom."
I
Just
I think that was more like a muscle. It was like, okay, look, I'm out on my feet kind of thing. Let me just let these hands go and hope something hit. I think there was more of that than okay, I got my faculties and I can sit here and throw with you.
nah.
It was like I see three of y'all and I'm gonna hit one of them. Like that's what he was at with it. Like
Yeah,
Pick
cause
the one in the
yeah,
middle.
and then
yeah, like
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
I'm gonna somebody
What
like
look, but what killed me was the end when they asked him about it, 'cause especially with all the talking he was doing. I just want to say, I hope everybody had a happy Easter. And I said, dang, he didn't knock you out that
know where he was at.
They should
yeah,
have they
He
should
bro.
have
didn't know
let
where he
him
was at.
leave and get himself
Yeah,
together before that
Yeah,
interview.
get themselves
Honestly,
together,
they
man.
should not. They should not. I don't know who
that
checked
that
him out in
was
the corner. They should not have allowed him to interview.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. It was
But like
just
he
he was like,
paused.
thank
Like
y'all
his
for coming
brain was
out.
buffering.
yeah,
yeah.
He was
That's
like,
exactly what it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like.
He sat there
I
and was
felt
like,
bad, man.
"Thank
"Well,
y'all for
wish
coming
everybody a
out. Happy
happy
Easter."
Easter. Thanks for
What about the
coming."
fight though? Yeah, the Easter Bunny was great and appreciate it. Like he had no idea. I don't even know if he knew that the fight was over. Like he might have thought he was still in the locker room.
Yeah,
Like, all these people in here with me. Like
yeah, he was
Exactly.
out of
locker.
it.
Like Rolly
That
was out, bro. He was done.
so like where and
Like
this will
he
be the
was
last
out,
question
man.
before we kind of explain to them what we're going to be doing. But um Where do y'all see Pitbull? Because I mean, this fight with him between Rolly kind of put a lot of eyes on him. I believe. I mean, eyes were already on him, but I think with that little knockout, like, well, not knockout, the loss that he took to Tank, kind of had people underestimating him just a little bit. But with this type of fight that he had against Rolly and showed the dominance and showed that he can actually hang, where do you guys see him going in the future?
Is it so? I don't know if you all agree, but I kind of look at Isaac kind of like how I look at Cambosis at 135, where
Mm-hmm.
they've proven they can beat somebody for the belts. Me personally, I probably would have Isaac ranked the lowest of the belt holders, of the 4 belt holders, at 140. But clearly he's shown that he can go out there, and if you're not coming out there to execute your game plan and be on your P's and Q's, that he's more than capable of taking belts, or possibly defending his. So
Okay. Okay.
I think
I can
I
see
think the
that.
best fight. I think the best fight for him, like I'm talking about the most explosive fight for him, would be against Subriel, Matias. But I don't foresee them trying to link up anytime soon. But really, to Slim's point, I mean, Pitbull getting the belt was probably the worst thing that could have happened to anybody in that division who wanted to go undisputed, because he gonna get his pound of flesh when you go in the ring with Pitbull. Like,
yeah,
he's
man, you
proven that,
cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's one of those. He's more than a gatekeeper. But to your point, like, you kind of have to take a step back. Even though I was a strong advocate for Rolly, because I could see the talent. I knew he was rough, but I could see the talent in there.
Mm,
I mean, what has Rolly done? You know what I mean? Like, what has he done for this win to really matter for Pitbull? I
mm,
definitely
Yeah.
appreciate that they both, this is a title fight and they both wanted to win it and they talked a lot of trash to get here. But at the end of the day, you know, what did beating Rolly really do to like we didn't know. Like, I feel like Frank Martin has more on tape and on resume as far as his dominant performance against Riviera, and even the second guy he fought, I can't, it's escaping my name, but that was a fight that Frank kind of struggled in. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember, like, you could see he collected himself and he said, "Okay, I'm not going to be able to get this guy out of here, but I'm going to box. I'm going to outbox him for the rest of this fight." And that's like, I like that adjustment he made. Like, okay, I know, okay, I can't run through this dude. So it was like one of those tricky styles. Like one of those Sandor Martin. Was it Sandor Martin? I don't remember, but
it might
the
have
point is,
been.
he had trouble with
Yeah.
that dude.
Yeah.
He had
I
trouble with him, and
just
it was an awkward fight for everyone watching. But my point
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
even Frank Martin's got more on tape. What we know of him. Rolly just keeps kind of stumbling into these opportunities, and he's doing his best, but he's just kind of stumbling around, and talking a good game. So I would love to see Pitbull versus Subriel, but honestly, Pitbull earned himself a showcase fight.
I just
Yeah.
think that Pitbull is a he's a tough match. He's a tough matchup for anybody he fights, and just because of his fighting style, and
Yeah.
and because of that, like, I feel like a lot of people. I mean, obviously, if you're a contender or a challenger for that belt, you want to do what you got to do. Like, anybody that's a current belt holder will probably try to steer clear of him, because he's in that point where it's like, I know, just based off the way this dude fights, there's a chance he might beat me. He's not gonna knock me out, but he might beat me. He's gonna find a way to try to beat me, or if he don't beat me, he's gonna make my life ridiculously hard for these next
Yep.
12 rounds
Yeah.
or whatever of this fight. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to deal with that. And so,
He
Oh,
like,
by
got
the way,
everything to gain, nothing to lose every time out.
right,
Yeah.
like
Time
like he
out.
did, like, he wasn't even supposed to have it. Like, essentially, he wasn't supposed to have this belt. So, like, he's like, "What I got to lose?" Like, and he fights like it. He's like, "Bro, I don't have nothing to lose. You want this belt? Come get this
yeah.
belt. Like, I don't care about this
I mean,
belt."
he lost his neck, but yeah.
The output against I
By the
will
way, that
always
I was gonna say that opponent for Frank Martin, it was Artem Harutyunyan.
I don't hurt yourself.
Um,
Like,
yeah,
I was
it
like,
it be those dudes though, don't it,
no
Slim?
it do.
It be those dudes that you ain't never heard of.
That you think it's just about to be another, build up fight, and then you see him get in there. You're like, hold on. Do I need to start checking out for this dude?
Boots had one of those. Boots, the guy before Via. Obviously, I can't even remember these dudes' names, but I remember like Boots. Like you're struggling, bro.
That's how boxing. That's how resumes go. Like you remember the A side fight, but like over time you forget you remember what the fight was. But you have a hard time remembering, especially some of them harder, European names and stuff like that.
Right.
It's not something that we used to hearing or saying.
Right.
Yeah. No. But I'm gonna introduce y'all. Make sure y'all check us out this Saturday. We will be broadcasting live for the Devin Haney and Garcia. As I've been told, I'm just gonna have to keep my my volume off and just be quiet because
we can't show the fight no way. But
but I'm just saying, like, my TV speed's a little bit faster according to Breeze, so I'm just gonna have to just be quiet.
We'll figure it out. How fast, far.
Whoever got the slowest TV, they the one that's gonna have to.
Yeah, because I just got told
initiate the round by round.
Okay, because I'm like, I just got told my TV too fast. So I'm just saying, But we'll be live broadcasting. We can't show it, but we'll be giving our takes and giving live round by round. What's going on, kind of giving everybody, doing our scorecards. Yes, we're keeping score, y'all. We're doing our own scorecards. We're going to have our own scorecards to see if we're kind of getting close to what the judges are thinking about that. But also, before we go, I'm going to need all four of us to pick a class. And I need us to think about some fantasy card matchups. So you guys can do this as well. Think about a particular class. We got the cruiserweight, we got the heavyweight, whatever class you feel comfortable, the welterweight, whatever class you feel comfortable with and that you want to see a certain particular fight. Get your fantasy cards ready and let's match these up because we're going to talk about them. Like I said, we got other upcoming fights and we're going to spend time on these fights and talking about some of these fighters a little bit more and a little bit in depth. Okay, so I'm gonna need y'all to get that together. Y'all need to pick something.
Picking cruiserweight. I can bet my paycheck on that one.
Yeah, sure. I don't
picking cruiserweight.
Not enough fighters.
Something, okay? I just threw out the different weight classes. There ain't no weight class off limits, okay? Ain't no weight class off limits. Even though I know y'all ain't picking that. But ain't no weight class off limits. So just think about it. Think about your weight classes that you want. Okay. We're going to have this discussion on Saturday of what we kind of came up with. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to put them fantasy cards together and we're going to do it. I mean, the NFL draft is coming up. They we've been doing mock drafts and I know all of us are in here. I mean, I got 3 Commander fans looking at me, but all of us in here, our football fans, and we've been doing our mock drafts. So now it's time to get our fantasy cards for boxing and get our mind off of football.
I'm a Kirk Cousins guy, so I'm rooting for Atlanta too.
My condolences.
Kirk Cousins broke us, so I'm over this. See, you see, I ain't got no chains. I ain't got no chains. So I'm broke. But no, you guys catch us Saturday. What time is the main? What time is the not the undercards? Like who's the sub main?
The main event probably start at.
They in New York, right?
They in New York?
They fight in New York.
I thought they was on the West Coast.
It's not Vegas.
No, they at Barclays.
Okay.
They in Barclay.
Yeah.
All right. So that means what? 8 p.m.
So the co-main is Arnold Barboza and Sean McComb, 10 rounds.
Like, come on, man.
And what time they got that slated at? 8 or 9?
No time. On what I'm looking at is no time listed. 8. The zone says 8 p.m., but I don't know if
that's gonna be the main. That's gonna be when the main card starts. The co-main event probably be like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay, cool. Co-main with me. So we'll pop it up between probably 9. We'll probably crank it up around 9. Get in here and have some good old little conversations, and then we'll be good. Hold on, scroll up.
My bad. It's the time is right there, but it's
Oh,
yeah.
Saturday at 8. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's when a week on the cards happen. So yeah, we'll see y'all at 9.
We'll see
We'll
y'all
see
the
y'all
start of the
at
co-main.
9. Yeah, we'll see
All
y'all at
right,
9 when
see
that
ya.
comes on. Yeah, that'll be what it is. But again, make sure y'all check us out. Make sure y'all follow all of our social media pages. If y'all want to drop y'all names down, y'all can find me at Lady E _ tell them. Just look for that one. Yes, I tell them. I tell them.
Coach Breeze _ on X.
You can find me as Slim _ Rob on pretty much all social media platforms.
And it's just Commando Bando because I'm out here.
he out here,
We out
y'all.
we out here.
We
We
out
out
here,
Bando,
man.
because
We
I'm
out
out
here.
here is crazy.
Look, I got a whole bunch of Commanders fans. Like seriously. Like the thing about it is, as much as I don't like y'all because y'all beat us a couple past the years, I still love y'all.
Yo,
But
Taylor
it's
Honey
okay. Y'all gonna
Taylor
catch
Honey
all
me.
love.
loves
It's
stunting
all
on
love.
y'all.
Look, first of all, I wanted to get rid of that. Now, we'll talk about that later because I'm like, look, don't even bring that man up right now. I'm just gonna do this all day, all day, all day, all day, all day. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Peace out. We'll see y'all next week. Hey, Miss Janet. I see
We'll
that
see
she
y'all
popped on
Saturday.
here.
Auntie, what's that, Auntie?
I said next week.
Next week is crazy.
That's
Next
2
week
days.
is crazy, man. We
We'll
see
see
y'all.
y'all
We see
in
y'all
2 days.
Saturday, man. We see y'all
Saturday night.
Saturday.
It's the
You know what I'm saying? Tune in and yeah, man. Y'all know how we give it up. Always maintain and never complaining.